And then I think we need to turn on that screen. It's the only thing. Okay. I think is it there or the other side?
I don't know. I thought it was the other side too, but I'm not.
I think Karen actually does it with
Oh,
magic. I don't
wait a
think she
minute.
actually.
What's this? Hi, everybody. Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Oh, right. We can't always see people.
Oh, I think something coming up. It's
It's okay, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
we've got
That's so
the
funny.
desktop on top of you right now, so we can't see.
That's so funny.
Let me see.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm
Is
hoping
Jen gonna join us?
she should, but I'm just hoping that she comes up here on the screen. Anyway,
Sorry.
hi Heather.
There.
Oh, I'm gonna attendee. Jen is attending. I'm going to promote her to being.
I think the invite
Yeah.
these little to panelists. And now she will get an invite and accept that. Yep. And it says she's joined.
Okay. Right. So, very good. Hi Jen.
Hey guys,
Happy holidays. So, see
happy
the
holidays. I liked seeing the fire crackling there in the background out in the vestibule.
the gas fireplace and everything. I think it should do. I mean, this is a rural town. We should be having like a real fireplace with real wood, don't you think?
Absolutely.
I mean, standing there and throwing wood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just another consideration.
It's another budget.
That sounds like a fire hazard.
Is anyway, so I don't know what to do there. So we set proceeds. Do you mind reading this? What minutes do you basically?
Okay, sure.
Okay, call to order the approval of minutes of the November 5th meeting. You all have received a copy of that. Any questions, any suggestions? Thank you. There doesn't seem to be anybody in the public here. So the first thing is the old business, which is the thing we've been talking about for some time, which is the Affordable Housing Committee Trust Fund, which thank you, Aaron, for doing this too. And yes, I'm sure this was no.
I was able to download the
Yeah.
Word doc from Mansfield. It was
Oh,
not complicated at all.
You have a conservative copy.
I didn't make paper copies, no,
Okay.
just the digital. Okay.
I have only 4 questions. I loved its straightforwardness and simpleness. But I did have a couple questions.
Yes, so let's start with that.
So it was a little bit confusing to me of whether this would allow direct grants or donations to the trust fund, or do they have to be made to the town that then sends them to the trust fund? The language was just a little confusing.
Now, I think that the trust fund is a creature of the town. So in the town, under the responsibility of the finance director, there is this fund. So money would go into the town, but then would be kept in the fund.
So again, this is my ex-lawyer nerdy hat on. When you read paragraph A, the last sentence, it says sources may be included but are not limited to a bunch of fees, clearly things that the town, but then it says monetary gifts, grants,
Yes.
loans. And what I thought was if I, as a private individual, or if I'm a foundation, or if I'm the state, do the monies go directly into the trust fund, or do they somehow, because it talks about, the first sentence is all about how the towns authorized to deposits money.
Right.
And those are defined as the sources. And then it says the sources may include but not limited to all these things.
Yeah.
It just was confusing to me about the way it's written.
Are there punctuation issues here? I mean, I think.
Well, no, I think it's,
I would say, it does not, that sounds like all that money is coming from state and federal agencies versus there's no delineation that individuals may also
exactly.
What if
contribute money
What if we say,
and or land.
And that was actually another
So
one. Can the
it just needs to
town
be
donate property?
either another sentence
Or
or
can someone?
another.
right, let's.
Well, it's also,
Yeah.
I mean, simplistically, who do you write the check to?
Right.
Town of Madison, or you write?
It is the town.
Yeah, it has to-
It's not a separate nonprofit organization.
Yeah,
It's the
it has to
town
go
of
to-
Madison.
okay.
So that
So that-
question of like a tax write-off or something like that, I'm not sure that would work.
No, it doesn't work. I mean, we look
Yeah.
into it because only,
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, good. So this, I mean, that is the way this reads. And
yes.
it's gotta go through the town.
But still though, it does, when I read that, the sources may be, but are not limited to, all those things then say, and monies received, Monterey gets from whom? Is it just?
well, it could be for anybody.
Well,
Land.
no, let's use your example, because if I own a piece of property and I would like it to be used for affordable housing, I'm a private citizen. How do I get my piece of property into this trust? Do I donate it to the town and the town would donate it to the trust? Or another example, if I'm a
This is a
foundation.
land bank. This is a monetary.
Well, it does,
Well, it's a
actually,
trust fund. You
one of
can-
them says that in a trust fund, land can.
I mean,
So it could be through the deed itself and restrictions on the deed. But the town to accept land would have to go through the whole, just as we would take any donation of land now for parks or whatnot.
And then it would be, I mean, the thing
But
is,
the language would have to be earmarked for
I mean, I think
this.
the key thing, well, a couple things. One is perhaps grants, loans, and or monies received from the state or federal agencies. That would then separate those two. But I think that the fact is, it is exactly the same as if the money, everything goes to the town. There's no difference. It's like everything goes to the town, even if the town takes money from one pocket and puts it in the other pocket. But then within the town then has to maintain a record of that, the trust fund. So it's the same as the money that they do, which is not a trust fund, which they allocate money to buy a new fire engine.
I
that kind of thing.
get that, but we're both Francine and I are thinking bigger. We're
When you're thinking-
wondering, like, if we're the.
if you're writing something as an attorney,
Yeah.
you're going to be more specific. I think.
Yeah, I
Is that
think
what
that,
I'm getting
yeah.
at? That's how to me, if it was leaving out,
Well, I'm one vote of three, but I think that being more general is to the benefit of our housing trust fund, rather than the basis.
How would you be more specific?
Yeah.
What is your
Yeah,
recommendation?
so again.
This is a legal question
Yeah.
for.
Part of it is what the law allows. You know, again, and this is not my area, but let's just use those two examples. The way this language is written, I do not believe a outside organization, like a nonprofit organization or a family foundation or a wealthy individual, a non-governmental entity, I don't believe they could donate money or land directly to the trust fund. That seems that's the way I interpret this language. And if the answer is no, they're not allowed to. Okay, if they're not legally allowed to, well, we should know that. But if they are allowed to, I don't think this language permits them to.
I think you're thinking of this as being something separate from the town.
No,
but
I understand
think
it's
about it.
part of the town,
No, but think if we're.
but it is separate. It's a trust fund.
No, it isn't. It is something that is managed completely by the town and by the Board of Selectmen. It's established by the Board of Selectmen. It's managed by the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen make all the decisions. The final decisions are made by the Board of Selectmen.
I'm not questioning.
Right.
I'm
No,
just talking about getting resources into the trust fund. That's all I'm talking
no,
about.
I
Once it's there, it's the town. So,
yeah,
yeah.
but that's what I'm trying to say. The trust fund is an accounting thing. It's not, it doesn't live by itself. It's not some kind of thing that sits on the wall. It is an accounting thing. It's the same as anything else that's in the budget for the town. It's the accounting thing. Anything that's donated into if somebody wants to give land, money, whatever they want to give, they can give it to the town and say, I want this to go into the housing trust fund. And then it's accounted for. It has to be received. So they have to show that they received it. The town has received it. They say, okay, yes, we received this money. And then where does it go? It has to go somewhere in the books. And where it goes in the books is to the housing trust fund.
I understand that part, okay, here, I was reading this almost a little bit differently than Michael's reading it. Michael's reading it saying, I'm not sure that this is including individual donations.
But
Allowing it.
State and federal.
When I read it, that's what it sounds like to me. Michael, wasn't actually even thinking legally, it just sounded, when I read this, if I wasn't, let me put it this way, let me back up. If I was just a person, a regular person, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'd like to donate either some money and or land, like a family foundation, like he's saying. I don't see that in here for me. This paragraph doesn't speak to me as an individual. This paragraph speaks to me as some sort of state or federal agency. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about the legality of putting it in the trust. I'm thinking about the way it reads.
Yeah.
Like if I'm an individual person and I want to donate either land or money to the Housing Trust Fund in Madison, that paragraph doesn't speak to me.
Okay.
So that's how I would.
But it says not limited to.
But
Yeah,
still,
but
that's.
but it's so,
That's not-
but it's
not-
just a fair reading of this.
So I guess I would ask the town attorney,
Yeah.
how would you write this? To make sure that that's inclusive. First of all, the word land is not in here. There's nothing
Right.
here that says land can be.
And that's town land or.
Well, I wasn't
Private
thinking about town, I was thinking about a person, I was
Right.
coming at it from a person.
And I'm just-
Like if they
Okay,
wanted to
all right,
donate-
let's.
Can I just, Francine, this is Jen. Would it sound better to you in the last sentence if it said municipal appropriations, monetary or land gifts from private citizens, grants, loans, and monies received from state and federal agencies? Like, would that make you feel like it was allowing for contribution from private citizens as well?
I mean,
I,
I guess, I don't know if that's the right language,
it's not.
but I think that the town attorney could probably help
No, but
make this
The
be,
attorney has to understand what we want.
yeah.
So I think Francine said, she just wants to know, can individuals or non-governmental
Agencies.
Yeah, I
non-governmental.
understand completely what you're saying.
May-
And how do we phrase
and-
that?
And yeah.
So that, when
Okay,
they- so that if a person reads this, it's very explanatory that monies can come from individuals and nonprofits as well as state agencies, that's all.
That's fine, but
It
it
doesn't
requires a
involve-
lot more
Just
words.
maybe a couple.
Yeah, but
It requires
but it does require more words,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean you
That's
shouldn't
all.
be doing it.
Okay, that's fine, noted.
And it's money or land.
Yeah, money or
Put that
land.
in.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Or cars.
Or prop. It should be property. Does real or personal property. Or-
Okay, Aaron.
I'm not sure we're gonna get into the car business, but
Well, kids and cars, cars for kids, with a check.
Okay.
All right, okay, let's go on to B then, please.
So I had a question about on the second page, paragraph.
So let's try to go
Oh,
through here if there's any
oh,
questions
No,
about.
I had no other question.
Okay.
On the first page.
Francine?
No.
Okay, let's go to page 2.
So it says here, paragraph 2, if the town meets the provisions of CGS 3 as amended, funds may also be used for community development and human services programs that assist households at or below 80%.
Mhm.
And I'd love to hear some examples of what that could be. I'm not against it. I just didn't understand.
Well, I mean, from a practical standpoint, it will never happen. That will never
Well,
happen.
but then it shouldn't be in, but it's there.
No,
So
it should be in there because what do you do with the money if in this event somewhere 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, when this housing trust fund still exists, they may finally get the 10% of the A30G. Or conceivably, they will get rid of A30G and we'll be in a different situation, but that could change. But I think that you gotta say what happens to the money after.
But that isn't what this paragraph gets to at all. This could happen day one. I just
No,
It can't happen.
it can't. So it's contingent on the municipality being compliant with the 10%.
Okay.
Which is not
affordable
gonna
housing
happen
in
on
our
day one.
community.
It's gonna
That's-
happen, and
that's
highly
what
unlikely
we're
it's gonna happen ever, you know.
Okay.
But an
So that's
example of that,
that's the fallback.
Yeah.
You get to the 10%,
yes.
and then there's some flexibility.
Then we can use the money
Yeah.
to, I mean, it could be for assistance on existing homes, paying down rents, things like. Yeah, all that.
Right.
Exactly, Molly and Heather.
Yeah, like a new
Yeah.
roof. I think we had talked about this before, like with some of the homes that were built 30 years ago. They haven't been updated. They all need new roofs.
Mhm.
And some of the folks who are eligible to buy these places, may not have funds for.
Or to do the repairs
Yeah,
on.
but it's
the
not-
horribles.
Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah.
practical.
That's fine.
We are 1.6%, and I think in our lifetime, we will not see that paragraph being.
I withdraw my question.
Anything else?
Was that your last one?
That was my last.
Okay.
Francie?
It was painless. Do we want to send this to Anthony and see if he had a question at all, like over the next week or so before kind of forwarding that to?
I'll do that. I'll give him a chance to say something.
I mean, you are a quorum, so you can,
Right.
you are a quorum, you can.
Yeah.
Decide to just move forward.
Well, I
with
think that because we
recommendations
have to do some adjustments on this initial paragraph, I think we really can't prove anything until we can see the final version, so.
You want me to send it to Carrie, our attorney, and ask her what her opinion is and
I think, yeah.
and let finance and kind of look at it
Well, I think
staff level. It's only been
a lot of things in here would solved by Thomas, and I think that probably it needs to be adjusted. At the very least, it has to be more clear by some better punctuation. We read grants, loans, and monies received from state or federal agencies. I think the issue I would have, though, Aaron, and just Francine and Michael, the issue I would have is that we don't want to say, or we could add that from individuals, but then you can also get gifts, grants, loans, and monies from non-individuals
Yeah.
too. So we want that to say both of those things. Yeah.
I mean, it's individuals, non-governmental entities, and the government.
And perhaps foundations. That's the thing. It's
Other
other.
non-governmental entities.
So I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well then, we are saying right now that this is okay, subject to some more thinking about that one paragraph. Is that correct?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that correct? We're gonna wait for some different words on that.
Yeah, you're just gonna kind of maybe see if you can tweak this a little bit. you know,
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna.
Yeah,
we're-
yeah.
So I have a question. Is it inappropriate to say that we approve it with those changes? Or is it better to wait
We'll
for
bring it
them?
back.
I think you gotta wait
Yeah,
till you
that's
see.
pretty
it.
We don't have the changes. We don't have changes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got it. I think it.
It's worth a wait for the
Yeah,
month,
it's
I think,
not-
so that we can get another set
no,
of
I-
eyes.
And that if anything, both Francine and Michael, if anything comes up between now and, January, middle of January, please, you may read it again and have another question about it. So,
Yeah, it was, again, thank you. It was really pretty straightforward.
yeah, a lot of it,
It's a great model.
a lot of Mansfield.
And I also think
Yeah,
it's,
it is.
it's gonna be less controversial for the board. Because, yeah, there was talk about setting up a separate board. And yes, it would be controlled by the Board of Selectmen, but, that added a layer of complexity and
Yeah, Mark
questions.
and I do.
And I kind of like, this is just part of the thing.
Well, there is words in here. Let's go to that part of it. There is words in here different than what Aaron and I talked about. I think for a practical matter, the board should be voting on things that we recommend. Somebody recommends. It shouldn't be the Board of Selectmen going and figuring out each one of these things and getting calls from. So the way this is now written, as I read it, was that the Affordable Housing Committee is actually going to consulting with the finance director. We will be making the recommendation. So we're doing there is
an early recommendation. From the Board of Selectmen's point of view, they still have absolute control.
absolutely,
And that's, I think,
absolutely,
the right way.
yeah, absolutely. No hesitation on that. Absolutely. But in other words, the idea is the Affordable Housing Committee then would be the ones taking information from contractors or developers, trying to see where it is, and then we would then present to the Board of Selectmen at a regular meeting. Here's our report on this. We need to have approval on these items and be able to answer questions on whatever it is. So, okay. So that's the governance issue. Communication plan. I sent what I don't know. Did I send everybody the Guilford information?
Yeah.
They did.
I think they did a reasonably good job for that, but I think there's two things that we want to consider. One is actually having a public meeting sometime in the early part of next year, once this is approved, that we would then use that as a sort of a keynote for a public meeting and see if we can get out there and start doing this thing. I have talked to the local reporter, lead reporter through the source, and told them what is on the way. But until we actually board is going to vote on this, he wants to wait until the Board of Selectmen then eventually makes the decision to set up this housing trust fund. So I think, Michael, if you would begin to start looking at this from your point of view and see if what we want to do. But I think the idea of this little brochure does make a lot of sense, and that's very similar to what you were talking about before that. And Erin has said, she said that there's money and a few bucks left over in the treasury that we could use to pay for it.
Yeah. So that's great. I mean, I think, we all, it's all about timing, right? So we really did need to wait for the state to either approve or not approve that law.
Right.
Okay, it's happened. I mean, the housing trust fund is a pretty significant step. If it happens or it doesn't happen, that needs to be addressed. I'm all in favor of, when those things are, yeah.
I think it's the issue. I mean, I think one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, and we can get ahead of it, that is once the word gets out about there's a housing trust fund, some people may misunderstand what that means. So I think you need to be able to do that. So I think we should be making some, again, with Aaron Rubin, we're going to be trying, he's the reporter, trying to get the real story out so they can, at least get in the source and zip sense what it is and what we're trying to do with it. It's not something that permits Section 8 or it's not a rent control thing or anything like that. Which could very well be.
Okay, so just wait a second. I'm sorry. I wasn't writing when you were talking earlier. Are you suggesting, as far as this pamphlet, waiting until this housing trust thing is approved?
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. So you said something about
We've been waiting until after they passed the law. They finally did last 2 weeks ago or whatever. So now we can know what the
move forward with printing, using this as a guide? Is that what you're suggesting?
well the Guilford one is an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Including putting some pictures of what are
So
affordable
it
housing.
be worthwhile to look at for
Yep.
just.
Yeah, it's not bad. We've done. Did a good job.
We want something, the insert's kind of nice because you could keep the main bones of affordable housing in the pamphlet and then update with an insert as needed.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
So I like that.
Absolutely.
But then you said something about
Having
having
them reprint.
is there something about having a community meeting?
Yes, that I'd like to try to schedule for early next year. It's the housing trust funds approved. So I don't.
Okay.
Once it gets on the Board of Selectmen agenda. Day.
And then as far as is approved. And then as far as, are you suggesting that you move ahead printing this out? And how would you be handing this out?
Well, I think just ask Michael if they want to put on hold. So now just to update what you've already done with the different information. I mean, I thought that the original thing, 830G, was going out. It's not.
No,
It's not.
it was never clear enough, yeah.
Well, it was an original point. But then they were gonna change it, say, here's how many buildings you have to have in each town. Rather than.
Fair share.
That's the one thing.
All right, so at the moment, it's just like a go ahead to start putting something together to get printed.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we have. I think you've got the core of it anyway. You've done the
Right.
core of it. So,
But I like I do like the ability to change it over time.
yes.
I mean,
You'll-
having any service on that, I think that's a really smart.
Yeah, okay, so you'll bring a template back for folks to look at?
Yes.
Yeah, for next meeting, James.
Okay,
And then the monthly meeting scheduled for meeting schedule for 26. Read with the.
I didn't send the revised, I forgot to send the revised one, eliminating the first meeting of the month.
Right.
But I did update the document to reflect that we're just on the third.
Okay, so I think
I can
we'd
send
have
it
to
to you.
confirm that fact that we're going to meet on the third Wednesday of the month, and we will, Mary will give us the actual dates that we have.
So, Aaron, I had a couple of questions about the bill that just passed.
Mhm.
There's the discussion about housing growth zones.
That's an optional, that's like
Yeah.
a carrot.
Right, so is that something that has been brought to the Board of Selectmen's attention? Is that something that you would want to pursue? Or is that something that at this point, we don't know enough information about and want to see what other towns do or what other?
It's similar to the redevelopment of the
David Crooks.
municipal,
Yeah.
yes, idea of encouraging transit-oriented development.
Right.
It actually references it as a way of getting money for something.
Yes, and that's kind of, these are kind of incentivizing if municipalities focus on transit-oriented areas, you may open up some additional pots of money. But there hasn't been a presentation to either commission, either the Planning and Zoning Commission or the Board of Selectmen about the bill. We've kind of digested some of the 90 pages that are in it. It's very much watered down from the last version.
Very much so.
It's a lot of plan writing mainly in the bill, but this particular section, I know the COGS are looking at them because there's opportunities for regional involvement
And that,
and
yeah,
things.
that was,
So we're kind of waiting right now to get some more feedback from some folks. We have just in my realm of zoning officers, we have some legal updates at some of our holiday events this month to kind of get everybody's opinion and understanding of what these statutory changes mean. So I think as we get into the new year, we'll have a better handle on what they are. But it's an optional thing, similar that I kind of liken it to the designated a transit-oriented district.
It's more incentives or perhaps incentives if you do certain things, but.
Yeah.
Instead of.
They're little carrots. It's not like, the other bill had a lot of heavy-handed requirements, mandatory things. They've eased back. Will this stuff make a difference? I don't know if it's really gonna move the needle on housing development not really sure, but that's.
because it seems, from New Haven to Greenwich, we have a really, really regular train schedule.
Well, I
And-
think that's the
and
other.
For those parts of the state where there really are true transit hubs,
Well, you're
it's
seeing
already-
the housing,
it's
you're
already-
seeing the housing development.
but on the shoreline, when they keep on cutting back the service.
Right.
I work a couple days a week in Norwalk, drive. The people that I know who live in Branford, Norwalk, Clinton, Madison, Branford, who go to my office, all say, if there were
Yeah,
more regular train service, they would consider doing it.
yeah,
It's just,
agreed. I used to commute to Norwalk. I know exactly.
yeah,
It's
so
a real pain.
So, I read that and I thought it's actually, a smart idea, but it seems kind of irrelevant for a shoreline if train, and that's obviously a
Well,
state.
and David mentioned that at our last meeting.
Yeah.
You know, I think trying to use some of this redevelopment around the train stations to encourage increase in scheduling. And you know, we are looking, we're gonna have a public information session just in the new year about the North Side platform. So they are building a North Side platform here in Madison.
Okay.
So it may not be something right away, but we might start to see.
There's a lot of people who are campaigning.
From like the third meeting, when we've been talking about transit oriented.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
like, you know, 3 years ago, why? We're not a commuter town.
Yeah.
I don't understand the pressure.
Yeah.
Because we're not a commuter town. You barely have any trains.
Yeah.
So.
We are actually, we
Well,
actually
we are a commuter town, but no one takes the
It's on
train.
the train.
I know. I agree, guys.
Because we can't
Right.
commute anywhere.
Right.
Okay, so get
Yes.
back to me, we have commuter trains.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was really
I've
nice.
never been swayed
Yeah.
by this commuter thing.
No, I've brought up that very point, Francine, to both Christine Cohen and John Michael Parker that
It's a stage.
yeah, that it's really a farce, the commuter oriented development, or you know,
For all the towns.
because we don't have it.
Point.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I mean, I think the last train like is 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Coming back, so
Yeah.
it's like.
Coming back is hard.
It's challenging to get density. I mean,
Well, it's,
no, you can.
in the area, because our soils around our train station
Yeah.
are limited. There's a lot of filled wetlands
Yeah, it's the.
in there.
yeah, but I think the fact is that they cut back when
Yeah.
COVID came, and then now they're saying we can't increase it because not everybody's come back yet. So I mean, that's the argument.
Yeah.
That's, and so.
I mean, I can't even believe that the train schedule was all that advantageous prior to COVID. I mean, Yale New Haven Hospital will subsidize employees to use the train, but if you are anybody that's on a nursing schedule or anything like that, the train service does not accommodate your work schedule, whether that was now or prior to COVID. So if you live this side of New Haven.
It was
Yeah.
okay, I commuted, and it was okay in the morning and the early evening, and then that was it. And then it was like 7 o'clock and then 10:30, at night, and then nothing overnight, and then next morning. was
And the weekends don't.
Yeah.
And the weekends were less. Well, actually, when I first started, the weekends didn't have any,
Yeah.
weren't any track. And part of it also is Amtrak, and they own track, which is part of the problem. So you have to sort of negotiate with Amtrak. They got their own problems.
Does the transit oriented district also include just being on a bus line?
Yes.
So, I mean, I have a fair number of clients who take the
It's a-
bus. I mean, they.
Yeah, because the shoreline buses are
It's
pretty.
not on a bus line. It's centered around the train station
That's what it is.
or rapid rail. It's defined in
Yeah.
the statutes.
Oh, I thought-
It's not a bus station.
So it's not just.
No.
Yeah.
I thought.
It is a train station.
Bus station,
Yes.
real bus station is, if you have bus service through the town, that becomes.
No. Unless it's a hub that they're coming
Yeah, yeah,
in and
yeah.
out of.
Right.
It's
Yeah, I
it's
didn't know.
not.
Okay.
No, not in Madison. Like that would include Scranton Park. It's not.
Right, right.
Interesting. I thought there was. So anyway, yeah, we're a long way from the first thing. I don't think so. I mean, I've tried a couple times going into the city to figure out how
Yeah.
to use shoreline, and I ended up.
It's very hard because.
We always drive to New Haven.
Right.
Or West Haven.
The problem is that some,
West Haven has-
you get to New Haven, the
Right,
parking garage is
Yeah.
filled.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer.
Yeah,
Then you have to go across the street.
So you go to the big empty lot too.
or you can do, my wife did once, that lot was filled, so she went to West Haven, that lot was filled, then she went to Milford, that one was filled, then she went to Bridgeport,
Yeah.
somewhere past Bridgeport.
And she just
came
kept
home,
driving.
she came home, she was like, I give up.
Just keep trying. Anyway, any other issues? So we're having a very quick meeting, but happy holidays to everybody.
No issues, but I did have a question. Aaron, I know you guys are still digesting the new housing bill, but I'm just wondering if anything you've read so far, would the establishment of this housing trust fund help to satisfy any of the new items in the bill?
But it checks the box in our affordable housing plan.
Okay.
Small bit.
No, that's not an incentive. There are things that we have to do. Basically, it changes 830J, which is the affordable housing plan, and change that language to, it's not the fair share housing plan, but it's.
You get points for a housing trust fund though, in the getting a waiver on
No.
Don't get any.
But there are changes in some of that counting of what qualifies for
Waiver.
the points, yes. And I did want to tell you, we just updated our reporting for the state for 830G, and we had underreported for years, once I had reviewed the Excel spreadsheet that they had. So I ended up, with the help of the Wellington and some other deed restricted properties, we added 30 units this year to our affordable houses list, so our percentage will go up. And I'm going through
Can
the
you get me that
process of
information for them?
it's gonna come out, but it doesn't come out until 26.
Oh,
So they use the rest of this year and a couple of months in 26 to produce that list. But it, depending on our timing,
yeah.
it would reflect.
One around the corner from my house on the road is, there's a couple of.
It's coming along, there's 6 in that
Six
unit,
in that
but we
unit.
don't get credit for that one yet, but we will next year after they have the CO. Yes, so for our 2026 reporting, and so I need to look very carefully at the moratorium process to see what we have credit for. You get higher points, the lower the percentage of the unit. So now that we have some new ones online, I see where we are and if it's useful to try to apply for something. And we just received a new affordable housing application. The Planning and Zoning Commission is officially receiving it tomorrow night. It's at 142 Boston Post Road, I believe, which is just west of Landon Lumber, across from the Flag Lady.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, everybody else looking
On the north side.
on the south side.
On land.
It's on Landon's side. The property is currently a tutoring center and there's an apartment above it. In the back, they're looking to add an additional 8 units. So it'll be a total of, it's a mixed use development because the learning center is staying and they're keeping the existing units. So it'll be a total of 9. So there would be 3 deed restricted affordable. And so that seems to be, it's right up, literally as a bus stop in front of the property. So if that's one, you want to kind of learn a little bit more about that project or even, support it, that kind of a thing. It's a good spot for it, I think. We haven't gotten into the details of the engineering aspects and all of that, but it seems like a pretty straight.
So a developer brought that
The property owner did.
property
Yeah,
owner.
the property owner.
We're not gonna have many objections so long as the.
It's not, it backs up to the railroad. It's on the post road on the bus stop. It's public water. As long as all the circulation, because you look at life safety, there's no inland wetlands as far as environmental, so need the stormwater regulations. It's pretty much, it's kind of a long winder building, townhome style.
Jen, anything else from the, anything else? Jen,
No, nothing else for me.
Heather? Okay. Hi, Heather. Yeah, Zoom is great, isn't it? Okay. Then we'll adjourn it at order in soccer. Well, maybe if you want to, I'm happy to, as long as I can't take.
It's
questions.
Is anybody up for reappointment?
We never actually, that's a good question, because we never
Who
actually.
turned out? Yeah.
Didn't
You're turning out?
As I was putting my
you
shoe,
didn't do it.
well, wait a second,
We had 1 and 2 and 3 year.
I was putting my shoes on and I got a phone call.
Today?
Yes, and it was Maureen. I don't know her last name, from saying your term is up on a affordable housing committee. And were you?
Oh, so they're
Somebody
looking
must
for
have, because I
reappointment.
have absolutely no idea, because when we had the conversation, we had a lot of controversy and no one really volunteered to be the 1 year, 2 year.
I
3
did,
year.
well, I know I said I would do it for 1 year.
So you, okay.
And so, and I told her that I had already told Mark that I was resigning. And so,
So you don't have to
This was
resign.
my
you
last
just-
meeting.
You just turn on.
yeah, I just turned on,
Okay.
so. I'm. And I need to make some public thing out of it. I mean, I realize that this is leaving very few people here, but and I appreciate having been on it.
Michael, I'll be fine, yeah.
I'm just really not cut out to be on something that this is like molasses for me. I mean, I need to feel like I'm accomplishing something, and I hope you take that not with anything negative to anybody here. It's just that this is too slow for me. 3 years, we are nowhere near even discussing a parcel of land that would be available to us for a project. And I'm not, it's my own personal opinion, I'm not getting the feeling that that's going to come easy. So I need to,
Well, housing trust fund,
Yeah.
I mean, see it.
I need to be doing something where I feel like I'm having some forward motion, do you know what I mean? So.
Do you have any ideas of another committee?
I mean, see, when I went to planning and zoning, even though as arduous as that could be, you go to a meeting, you get an application, you.
Very different, yeah, very different.
And so I was.
Francine, we need people. What about zoning board of appeals? Do we have any openings there?
Yeah, that's an.
No, I wrote to Molly and Heather and said, give me a list of food banks or something. I need to feel like I'm
Oh,
accomplishing.
that's not a bad
I need
idea,
to feel
actually,
like I'm
doing
accomplishing
like
something.
actual.
Yeah.
Stuck in the can, it's good, I think,
We
yeah.
gave her quite a list.
Anyway, thank you for letting me participate. I'll come
Thank
to your
you.
public meetings and be supportive.
Not.
But I think Jen, she raises a really kind of important issue, which is we're now down to, I mean, we're not sure if Anthony is
We're
a
down to
member
two,
anymore.
Possibly.
He hasn't, not only has he not attended the last couple of meetings, he hasn't really replied to Mark's emails. So, I mean, honestly, if we're down to a 2-person committee, it's starting to look pretty bleak. And, you know, if one of the issues is, well, who would want to join a committee that's not actually getting stuff done? I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure why there isn't, you know, more interest, but I do think it's a problem. Not, you know, it's not good that there's. that it
We have a
could-
lot of vacancies, I think. I agree, and I think I think the committee in general has had some growing pains over your first few years.
Well, considering the fact that no one knew what to do for
Yeah.
starting here.
And there's, you know, things go through, we've had commissions that have, you know, I have inland wetlands as, you know, people have served and timed out and weren't interested, and people who have busy in their lives. I mean, we go through waves, I think.
Well, I think
There's-
Michael makes a point, though. I mean, Anthony, for all intents and purposes, is not participating, so why, I will try to find out why.
Yeah, I'm happy to reach out to him also and see if he's.
Yeah, but if there's 2 people, it does seem like a committee of 2.
Well, this is the
Something
time
is
of year really to kind of look when we're doing these large appointments in the new year for,
Right.
you know, and filling vacancies and things. So it's a great time to bring it up to the parties since they're going to be holding these meetings anyways. Jen, maybe you want to.
I mean, Jen, I
Advocate
guess,
at least
you
if
know,
you're-
since we're talking about this a little bit here. And you're on the you're board of selectmen person, my impression, this is me, just speaking for myself.
Mhm.
My impression is that the board of selectmen are not all that supportive of affordable housing, a commitment to build an affordable housing project. That's just my impression. We haven't had that much communication, but the communication we have had, when I hear things like, oh my God, we would have to hire more police. How would I talk to my constituents about that? It's a lot of pushback. And so for me to spend my time to volunteer, that's very discouraging.
And I can
And-
appreciate that. I can appreciate the way that makes you feel. From the Board of Selectmen's perspective, we've been, I think, you know, both in my time and prior to my time on the board, supportive of the affordable housing projects that do come forward by private developers to the town of Madison. You know, we've been supportive through, you know, financial means and tax abatements and all that sort of thing. But, you know, it is our job to put on that bigger hat, broader thinking about, you know, there are other services that need to be taken into consideration anytime we're looking at potential for large scale development increase. We have to consult with our police, our fire, our EMS to see, what fits within their standardized protocols. And then, as you know, with our town meeting form of government, any big changes really do have to go through either a town meeting or a referendum. So from the Board of Selectmen's perspective, we need to think about how do we present the information so that it's, gets the greatest amount of turnout and participation and that sort of thing, because there's nothing, I don't want to say there's nothing, but there are many things that the Board of Selectmen cannot do independently.
I understand that, but, we'll probably just have to agree to disagree on this because
Sure.
to just throw a couple of units in a building, that's really never going to solve any housing problem in this town, ever. It's just not going to solve the problem. It's not going to move the needle. And I think from my point of view, and I know when Jane and I spent a lot of time looking at land and stuff, we assumed and perhaps, not incorrectly, that, putting together an affordable housing plan, of course, that was by state, expectation. Still in all, that we were looking at an affordable housing project full on, not just a couple of apartments here, a couple of apartments there. And also this notion, I mean, we're never going to be bringing thousands and thousands of people into town. The idea that the town couldn't handle like one building, that just, I don't really know. I don't understand that. I just don't.
I see your frustration also, Francine, but I can say that I've seen some progress over the last few years since the plan was drafted and this committee came forward. We have completed tasks because of this committee in that are listed in the affordable plan, the affordable housing plan. We've and received accolades from Sustainable CT for some of the ones that we did in our recent recertification. We also the establishment of this as a permanent commission, I think, is a good face that the Board of Selectmen has put forward. Again, the financial contributions to nonprofit affordable development in town with the Wellington was big. We have our strategic plan specifically calls out for more affordable housing, our POCD. So these are like two master plans really for our community that clearly identify we need to provide housing that fits no matter what phase of your life you're in. So I think that is a statement. Things move slowly. The Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance have allocated $135,000. Not all of that to the Facilities Committee is towards feasibility studies, but some of that money is towards feasibility of raw land and former schools for the potential for housing. Those are big steps that never would have happened, had we not kind of started this initiative. So as slowly as it is, there are things that have moved, at least even in my small tenure here. So I think be proud of some of that you don't walk away thinking we've done nothing, because municipalities are slow, but I think you have made some progress.
Municipalities are slow.
Yeah.
It's built in that way. It's supposed to become.
I guess one of the things that, as the newbie here, that newbie not only just in this committee, but having only lived here for 7 years, I'm still learning about the town, I feel. One of the things, and maybe Jen, you could provide some leadership on this, is both of you talked about the size of projects without actually saying what you think a big or a small project is. And I think one of the things that might be helpful is if we're legally required to make progress in affordable housing to begin with, and there is some interest in meeting that obligation, maybe it would be helpful to kind of understand what what are we really talking about? I mean, I don't think we're talking about a 6-story building with 85 units. I also think Francine's concerned, well, if we only do 2 or 3 units at a time, we'll never get there. So it's kind of like those are two big divides. But what are project sizes that would be acceptable to the town population, that would be backed by the Board of Selectmen as a kind of a size range that you would feel comfortable with, and that, and would also make progress toward the ultimate goals that we all share on this committee, which is to actually help facilitate more affordable housing units. Because I agree with you, Francine, that 1 or 2 units at a time will take forever. When I heard about this project that Aaron was just talking about, where there are going to be how many affordable units?
Well, there'll be 3.
3 out of 8. And Wellington, and you start hearing about the projects. One size up might be nice. And is there even an appetite for 10 units, for 20 units? Where's the number? Where's the
Depends
number?
where it is, right? I mean, that's.
And also what's feasible, because of issues like sewer, and because there are a lot of very practical concerns too. So I just don't understand what it is what's the goal that we're trying to point to. It's a lot easier to get there if you're all kind of aligned on the kinds of project size.
I don't think, that's the one thing that we have not done is really, other than talk about 830G and 10%, which we all think is sort of distant future at the best. We have never had the conversation with the board or with Board of Selectmen or anyone else as to exactly what do we want to do. I mean, we do have the Wellington added a lot of, that's a nice unit. I mean, what, 24 units. And we're not
do a few of those. That seems to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That to me, that seems like a real problem.
But when you hear is people going to the extreme, and I think, Jen, I certainly agree with you that you can't just go willy-nilly and not have consultation with the services in town, whether it's the police or the fire or anybody else. But on the other hand, I think Francine is right. If you put another 20 units in, it's not going to all of a sudden, create a situation where the police are being overwhelmed or the.
Oh, and I don't disagree with that. It's also the private developers at play. I feel pretty confident in saying that I don't think that the town is ever going to build, to invest money in building an entire project. So that's where it's the developers that are coming in. Are there plots of land for sale? Take for example the project that's going to be going in at the end of New Road on the north side down by the Hammonasset Connector. I mean, Aaron, isn't that over 70 units that are going in with a certain number that are affordable?
Yeah, it's a 72 unit development. 8 of them are affordable.
Right. And so that's not us. That's the developer saying this is what makes the project work for them. This is, what allows them to build, to put in some affordable, to make money for their next project. That's the thing. That's private development. They're not doing this altruistically.
No, you can't get nonprofits.
Yeah, no, but Jen is saying that the town of Madison is not going to then be a developer.
Oh, no one's expecting the town to build.
No, exactly.
Right. So it's a matter of those folks coming to us and proposing a project. I mean, we've been welcoming of their projects. So it's just a matter of, do they want to come here or not?
Well, some of it's a little the other way, though. It might, and maybe I'm not understanding this correctly. Yes, there are developers that come and they want to develop a piece of land, so they throw a few affordables in there and then they get to do their project. I'm looking at it differently.
That's, yeah.
I'm
There
looking
are two different things. One is what you just said, which is the 6 unit and the 8
Yeah.
units over here in 72. But remember early on, we did talk to some developers who wanted to build affordable housing units, and we never have gone beyond that.
Yeah, they were nonprofits that come in.
Or nonprofits.
And that was the point of us trying to find, me and Jane going all over the place, where's town land? Like,
Yeah.
where's a parcel of land that the town would be willing to?
And that's what the facility committee is in the process of identifying now. We've approved the money for those studies and that's what they're doing.
Perhaps we could go find then a nonprofit that's willing to
Yeah, and
kind of,
that's,
the town.
That's the next
That's
step,
what we'd like
as
to
they
do,
do
yeah,
this.
that's-
Yes, but then I'm not sure if Jen maybe met with the developer. When you said you didn't see it in a whole affordable project, do you mean for a developer to do that? Or do you think ever that the town is going to be supportive of a
No, I'm not
project?
talking about supportive. I'm talking about the town spending town money to build something like that.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think anyone's suggesting that, Jen.
Okay.
Are they, it's either private developers
Crossed my
who
mind.
put a small piece of the project as affordable, or nonprofit developers who
Where
do
it's
a
100%
larger.
affordable.
Yeah,
They're
those are the
they're
two.
rarely 100% affordable.
yeah. But
Yeah,
also,
even the
Even the Wellington
Right,
has
right,
7
right.
units.
Yeah, even the Wellington has market rate in it.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
Hey, we gotta put the economics together, but one of the things is the land. I mean, look, I don't want to get into the academy school, but I mean, one of the things the town has said is that the land will remain part of the town, so that all of a sudden there's not the expense of land. You don't have to buy the land if you want to develop it, so.
And that's what a lot of municipalities do.
Yes. And
And I think
Right,
that-
right. And again, that's why we're looking at these projects. And my understanding is Bower Park as well. It's in their deed, I believe, if I remember correctly, that it could be used for a park or affordable housing. And there is land at Bower Park being looked at as a part of the facility study.
So that's actually happening. They're looking at the feasibility of certain town parcels. Most of the ones that you and Jane identified.
We found
As
that
well.
one.
So by the way,
Well,
that may be the other piece of this, is that possibly this committee should either be part of the facilities committee or part of the planning and zoning process. Because it seems like that's where the decisions, the larger decisions are being made about, about that impact.
Well, you
Affordable
serve as
housing.
an advisory.
And I think that's something that we haven't done a great job really being plugged into either of those processes.
And I believe we've talked about that in the past about the Affordable Housing Committee identifying liaisons from your committee to liaise with the Facilities Committee and the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Jane and I met with them a few times.
Right, the facilities.
Yeah. And Mark communicates with Carol.
Yeah, I mean, we are,
That's-
we are, and I told Carol, and she's now back from the birth of her granddaughter. So we will be meeting with her this month, I mean, hopefully. And no, I think that the thing is that we need to have a little bit more proactive plan, but part of the issues is that we have not really come up with a plan. If you remember, over 3 years, we had the accessory dwelling units. We had a big thing about that. And of course, 2 people quit because we turned that down. Maybe that's, true. I think also our job is within the 830G, and I understand that. But I think the things being built on a new road is for lower cost housing. It's not necessarily affordable defined by the state, but it actually gives people an opportunity. There are 2-bedroom apartments, which we don't have very many of them in town. And we have co-ops and condominiums, but we don't really have that kind of rental units in town. And so that's the affordability is a bigger issue than just 830G. But under 830G, I mean, I think I would like to say that if there's anybody left in our committee, that in 26, that we do bring people in and start talking about, how about this piece of the facilities committee is an ad hoc committee. It is now going to finish its work and been done.
Yeah,
So
their reports are gonna be important to you.
the reports will
These
be given to
findings.
us, but they're not continuing, whereas obviously planning and zoning is continuing. So, and we have liaison with planning and zoning. We're going to be involved in the process by which they are working with the guys who are coming in and actually doing the proposals, the consultants so
For any regulation.
Pardon?
Right, regulation.
yeah, but we'll be part of the conversation in terms of what it is that is going to go into the new plan.
All we need is 2 chairs at any meeting and we can.
And we didn't bring our own chairs. I've got to be in White Plains at 7 o'clock tonight, so I'm going to try to be right now.
Thank God. She does. Yeah, at least it's not raining.
No, it's actually a very nice night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Pardon?
Yeah, yesterday I was supposed to go to Bridgeport at rush hour and I just can't.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what's gonna, I mean, I just can imagine the mystery tour, you don't know.
Okay, that's all she wrote. See you, ladies.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm just.